Hey, what's up guys? Welcome back to the channel. My name is Justin, and in today's video, I want to have a discussion with you guys about what exactly is going on in the car market. All right, the car market, what are we talking about? Well, I want to discuss what's going on with the used car market, the new car market, why prices are so out of proportion right now, and what exactly is going on. I'm sure I can't be the only one noticing that, and I want to have a discussion with you guys down there in the comments. So if you have any questions, comments, or if you want to kind of chime in on your experiences with the car market, let me know down there. But before we get started and before we start discussing it, I'm gonna make some tea. That way we can get real comfy. What's the main reason why I wanted to talk to you guys about this is that the market right now is incredibly hot for new cars and for used cars. You're seeing markups in not just a couple of $100s over MSRP, but you're seeing markups of over thousands and thousands of dollars. So that's definitely something to look out for, especially if you're in the market for a new car or even just a used car in general, because now I'm noticing that you're actually seeing used car prices going for well above MSRP for a brand new car of the same like or model. So that's something that I really want to discuss with you guys because it's something that has been going on for the past year and a half. And I kind of want to show you guys examples of that. I do have a couple of cool cars lined up for you guys. And I want to show you and walk you guys through exactly what the numbers look like and what the reason might be of why this is happening and hopefully a solution to all of this. Without further ado, let me go ahead and show you a couple of examples of what I'm talking about so you guys can see exactly how ridiculous these numbers are. And this is something that's been going on for the last couple of months and it's just been on my mind for so long. I've been wanting to make this video for a little while and finally got a chance to actually sit down and do some research on some of these prices, and I think some of them will surprise you. So let's go ahead and take a look. Some background guys, before we get started, I think the best comparison really is to do the Supra. And if you guys don't know, I do own a 2020 GR Supra. I had purchased that last year in 2020 back in August. I have bought that car for a sales price of about $48,900, I believe, with an out the door price of about, I think it was like $52,900, and of course you've got your taxes and fees included in that. So that being said, I want to see what exactly the car is going for now with this crazy market that's going on. I did find a 2020 Toyota Supra. This one's a premium just like mine. It's got 2 owners and about 14,000 miles, and its list price on here is $53,990. Just for comparison, guys, starting price for a premium model last year of about the same spec starts at $53,990. Of course, it can go up based on your options, but just in this example alone, guys, it shows that the car really didn't even lose any value within the last year. You basically could have got this car brand new last year with no miles, and this used one is going for the same price as MSRP with 2 owners and 14,000 miles on it. I don't know any other car or any other time when you can literally trade your car in and get the same value that you had bought the car. Typically, when you drive the car off the lot, it loses a significant amount of value right then and there. So example number 1 in the books. Example number 2, one of my favorite cars, the 2021 Honda Civic Type R. And if you're from California, then this will be a doozy. So the Honda Civic Type R, typically MSRP is for about $37,895. Remember, this is the price that Honda recommends. This particular model is a 2021. It's got 1 owner, 7,185 miles. Sales price of $47,698. That is a difference of about $9,800 and some change. So for a used car, you're paying a markup of $9,800. That's $9,800 that literally came out of nowhere. You're paying $9,800 for not even the car. That's just market adjustment based on the current market and its situation. That's insane. Yeah, that's a lot of money. You can find yourself another car off of Craigslist for about that price. And the crazy thing is that's $9,800 not towards the purchase of the car. You're not paying any more for a car. That's not like tint, ceramic coating, clear bond. No, that's just $9,800 poof for nothing. Let's move on. And this one is very, very surprising. So we went through the Supra, we went through the Civic. Let's go ahead and go back to our domestic friends and let's check out this 2021 Chevy Corvette Stingray. This is a 1LT, so this is, I believe, a base model. These cars typically MSRP for about $59,995. Again, this is the base model for the new 2021 Corvette. This one's got about one owner. It's got 500 miles, so it's barely even broken in. This is practically almost new. $95,798. That is a market adjustment of $35,800 and change.
What? Bro, what are you talking about, man?
$35,000. That is insane. If you tossed in an extra $2,000 and found a Civic Type R for MSRP, you could buy one of those and an MSRP of a Corvette for the price that they're asking for this used one. $35,000 in dealership markup. What is going on? What is happening? What is going through the minds of people? And the thing that bothers me the most is that they're probably doing this because someone is actually willing to pay for that. On to the next one. We've gone through our JDM cars. We've gone through a domestic car. Let's go ahead and see how our Euro cars are faring in this market. Just a hint, I like Euro cars. We've got ourselves a 2021 BMW M3 Competition. This bad boy's got one owner, about 6,300 miles and some change. BMW M3 Comp typically retails for about $72,800 MSRP. This guy is going for about $97,998, which still has a pretty significant markup. Not as much as the Corvette, but it still has a difference of about $25,000 and some change in market adjustment. So not quite as much, but still, $25,000 in the grand scheme of things is a lot of money for this type of car. So you might be thinking, okay, Justin, is this just affecting sports cars? Surely your daily drivers and your econo cars can't be impacted. Let's take a look at that. So here's an example here. This is a 2019 Camry SE. It's got two owners, about 40,809 miles. And the MSRP on these guys typically go for about $25,800. And this one's selling for about $27,500. With a difference of about $1,700 in market adjustment. So this one is actually not as bad and not as drastic and blown out of proportion as the other cars. Granted, this is probably because it's an econo car. They make plenty of these. They're abundant all over the place. And some can argue that it's really not that desirable in comparison to a sports car. So $1,700 above MSRP for a used car in this current market is actually not that bad. But still, if you put it into perspective, you could have got one of these cars brand new with no mileage for less than the price that they're asking for. So yes, to answer that question, econo cars are hit as well. Now, a couple of things I do want to say, guys, is that I'm not saying that there's market adjustments and markups all over the place in every dealership that you're going to go to. At least here in California, I know that dealerships are taking advantage of that and they're definitely marking up a lot of their inventory. But I have seen plenty of cars on Car Gurus as well that showed decent prices on their cars. And you just got to go hunt and be very patient and be very vigilant in your search. And of course, guys, some of these MSRP prices that I'm stating, these might just be for the base models. You also have to take into consideration the upgrades and the way you want to spec your vehicles. So take that with a grain of salt as well. But of course, I can't really justify that for the M3 or the Corvette with markups of $25,000 to $35,000. That's still plenty of money. Now, out of curiosity and out of just, shits and giggles, I went ahead and I just looked up the E36 M3 to see how much that's going for right now. So when I had purchased my E36, it had about 142,000 miles, I believe, and I bought it for about $7,800, which was about 5 years ago. These two M3s that I found are, actually they're in very good condition. One of them here is a 98. This one's selling for about $14,000 with about 258,000 miles. And the other one I'm looking at here is a 97 M3 going for about $23,499 with about 111,000 miles. And this one is actually from a dealership, which would probably explain why it's significantly higher. These cars are very clean. They look like they're very well maintained, but it just goes to show how this really affects all cars in the used market, not just most recent cars, but even older cars, even the ones made in the 90s. So just across the board, guys, it just seems like no matter what you're going for, if you're looking for a new daily car or even a project car, this is definitely something to take into consideration as far as your budget goes for building your vehicles. Back in the day, you could literally go into a dealership, look at the MSRP price, and you can pretty much almost get a sales price for less than that. Typically, in my experience, I try to get my sales price as close as possible to invoice price, which is pretty much the price that the dealership pays for the vehicle up front. And there's a lot of wiggle room about 2 years ago prior to the pandemic. So you can literally go in and haggle your way in. Again, no one pays sticker for car prices, unless of course you're Hank Hill.
You see the price on that sticker? Well, that's the price you're gonna pay for this car, not a dime more for the football star. Wow.
Again, no one would pay sticker price. At least that was the sentiment prior to 2020. So I do want to have a discussion now as to why I believe that these prices are the way they are. I can kind of see that there's a general trend, especially amongst sports cars. And I think the reason for that is because sports cars aren't made in abundance, just like your econo cars or your daily cars that people usually buy. So I'm talking about your Corollas, your Honda Civics, where people are buying them in huge amounts, so they're abundant. Some of these sports cars, Civic Type R, Corvette, even though we might think as car enthusiasts that they're abundant and they're not as rare, these companies don't make tons of these like they do with their econo cars. So I can understand how initially there might be a markup, especially when a new car has been released, because a lot of people in the market want to be the first to get it. So as an example, a lot of newer cars, like I know when the Supra first got launched, there was about $10,000 markup on those vehicles, and on the Civic Type Rs. The Civic Type Rs is probably one of the worst markups that I can remember of recent years, especially here in California. You would be hard pressed to find a Civic Type R that is being sold for at least MSRP. I know this because I was in the market of wanting to buy a Civic Type R prior to buying the Supra, and I reached out to dozens of dealerships in California, and the best deal I got out the door was about, I believe, $47,000 or $48,000. So they basically marked it up an additional $5,000-6,000, and then of course taxes and fees and all that. So that was the best deal I can find. I believe the markup was about $500 or $7,500, and that was about the time COVID was pretty much mid-swing. I would say about May or June. So dealerships were already kind of hurting at this point, and these markups pretty much remained the same even prior to that as well. So just not a good look. And as an example, here is a 2022 BRZ as well. This is a brand new BRZ. As you guys know, this is just released this year with a market adjustment of just about $15,000. That is insane. The GR86 and the BRZ is touted as an affordable sports car, but if these markups continue to exist, I think they're going to push a lot of people away from it, and that's just really unfortunate. So on to the meat and potatoes of this. So why are we having these markups? I have a couple of ideas of why this might be happening. Number one is a lack of supply. During the COVID pandemic, a lot of these manufacturers were closing down shop, so cars weren't being manufactured. And as a result, the supply of vehicles being placed on the lot has diminished drastically since the pandemic started. And dealerships are actually wanting to buy these used cars back because they want to sell them for profit because they don't have enough new cars to sell. So unfortunately, it affects the new cars because there's not enough supply, and it affects the older vehicles and the used cars because there's not enough supply of those as well, especially currently now with the markets opening back up and the economy starting up again, especially after the lockdowns. People are going back to work. People want vehicles. There's a high demand for vehicles, and unfortunately still not enough supply, even though manufacturers have started to ramp up again. So that's one big reason, is really just simple economics, supply and demand. Number two, which I think is a really, really big reason, some might actually argue that this might be the number one reason, is that there is a shortage of semiconductor chips. So when I say semiconductor chips, I'm literally meaning the chips, the electronic components that go into your vehicles. All these new technology and gadgets that are in your car come at a price. And that comes in pretty much the chips that go into the cars. So these semiconductor chips go into everything. They literally go into your cell phone, they go into your cameras, your laptops, your PCs, graphics cards, all sorts of things, televisions. So just across the board, the semiconductor chips affect everything. So not only are the car manufacturing companies competing with other areas in technology, but all that shortage is doing is pretty much putting a bottleneck on how many cars that they can produce. And amongst the cars that are being produced, it still can't meet up with the demands of the market. And just as an example of how this is not only affecting the car market in terms of the semiconductors, is looking at gaming computers. If you play video games, you've noticed that it's very difficult right now to purchase a graphics card at MSRP price, or to even buy a PlayStation 5 or a brand new Xbox at MSRP price. You can go on eBay, StockX, what have you, and see that all these prices for all of these components are incredibly marked up. And the moment some of these components go on sale on Best Buy or Newegg or even Amazon, they're gobbled up in less than a minute because people are buying these things like hotcakes. It's incredibly difficult to buy any of those components at market price right now without paying a markup if you're not willing to wait and not willing to try to be savvy and wait for these deals to actually come on sale. And that's just another example of the competition that the car manufacturing companies are going against. So not only are they trying to secure the semiconductor chips, they have to actually get semiconductor chips in order to make these vehicles. So that's a really big issue that's going on right now. Lastly, guys, we have inflation. Just in general, everything around us is getting more expensive. And I actually pulled up the numbers out of this because I was actually very curious to know what was going on. So the annual rate of inflation in the United States hit 6.2% in October of 2021, the highest in more than 3 decades as measured by the Consumer Price Index. That's a lot, guys. 6% is a lot of money. That's actually sales tax on a lot of different states. Here, where I live, sales tax is about 8% and some change. So that's a lot of money, especially if you're making a big purchase. That's a couple of hundred, if not a couple of thousand, down the drain. So here we are at the end of our discussion here. The top 3 things that I believe are the reason for this happening is simple economics, which is the supply and demand, which is a lack of supply, therefore pushing the prices of vehicles higher. You've got the semiconductor shortage, which is making it difficult to acquire the parts necessary to make these cars. And then 3, you also have inflation to just pull everything together. So with those 3 all mixed into the pot, we just have a really, really bad concoction of marked up prices and an insane market right now. So unfortunately, I think this is how it's going to be for the next couple of months, at least. I'm hoping by next year things might change a little bit. The market is changing every single week, every single day. So what might be priced today might be different a week or 2 from now, but only time will tell. Certainly, it's been very difficult trying to buy even just car parts. A lot of car parts have been sold out and have been back ordered for a long time. So that's something that's also been affected too because of the market. Anyways, guys, that's just something that I really wanted to discuss with you guys. Let me know in the comments, what cars have you been looking at and what cars have surprised you on how much the market adjustments have been. That's pretty much it. If you enjoyed this video, please hit that like button. If you want to subscribe to my channel, I have vlog videos like this I upload every week. I go to car shows, car events, cruises, just pretty much everything in general with vehicles. Feel free to hit me up. Or feel free to hit that subscribe button. That's what I meant. I'm nearing close to 100 subscribers. I know it doesn't sound like much, but we've come a very long way in the last couple of months. I've been trying to be consistent with uploading these videos, and we're finally about to hit 100. So once we finally hit that number, I'm gonna make an announcement on the YouTube channel. I am gonna wanna go ahead and do a giveaway for that 100th subscriber. So once we hit that 100 mark, I'll go ahead and announce what it is. I think I'm gonna do a $10 Amazon gift card, and we'll go from there. So help me out, guys. Like my video, share my video, tell people about my videos. It would mean the most to me if you guys can do that. I started this because I enjoyed vlogging and I just enjoy the car community and I wanted to share my journey with everybody. So yeah, that's all I got for you guys. Anyways, I hope you guys enjoyed this video. Leave me a comment, like and subscribe, and I'll catch you in the next one. Remember, respect your elders. Peace.